We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Get out of here, man.
Week 17. Most years, this is the last week, but not so fast, my friend. Not this year. We get a bonus week. And Marcus and Derek and I were talking before this. This might be the best slate of games all year. And I think it'll probably even get better next week as that seventh playoff spot makes things so interesting. What do you guys think about this slate of games, Marcus?
For me, this has to be the more exciting week of the two. Obviously, the final positions get locked in next week, which also I think next week's going to kind of feel like us having to say like the Los Angeles Chargers now versus San Diego. It's going to be like a very weird concept. But yeah, we have 11 different games that have like huge impact value. So this would be the most exciting week of the season. And then my nipples are hard in anticipation, man.
Yeah, there's just so many. Derek, what do you think is the marquee game this week? There's so many to choose from.
Yeah, there's a few. I think Arizona and Dallas is a really good one. I think it's going to give us a kind of an understanding of how both those teams are going to look in the playoffs. Both teams have kind of had some runs, and I know they have people who believe in them, and they definitely have their doubters too. I think Miami Tennessee is interesting from a game where two teams are pretty evenly matched, and we get to kind of a heat test on Miami to see how good they beat up on a lot of really bad teams. This is the first good team they've played in a while, so we're gonna see where they're really at.
Yep. But before we get to that game, let's jump to what I think is the best AFC game, and what potentially could be a AFC championship game. Kansas City playing Cincinnati. Kansas City giving 4.5 to the Bengals with an over/under 50. Marcus, what do you see in this game?
It's really hard for anyone to like have a good argument against Kansas City right now. Just kind of really firing on all cylinders. Hopefully it didn't peak too early, but I think it was just the right time, man. They've been fantastic, and the Bengals are the Bengals, so Kansas City's going to roll.
We said that last week, right? We said that last week that Harbaugh was going to be able to beat the Bengals, and it was a bloodbath. It was an absolute bloodbath. The Chiefs have burned me too many times, honestly. Like, I think, a few weeks ago, I declared I am no longer taking Kansas City against the spread. I do think Kansas City wins, but this is Harrison Butker walk-off written all over it. I think the Bengals cover this, but Kansas City wins. Derek, what do you think about that? And what players are you looking at in this matchup?
I'm still leaning Kansas City here. I think that Bengals are obviously a good team. They're a playoff team. They're a team, the only team in the AFC North that's trending the right direction. I've said that a few times. I really like what their short-term future looks like. But Kansas City they're just so hot right now. The defense is playing out of their mind better than right now.
No, you were just missing the hair there, Will Ferrell.
They're definitely like. Sometimes a unit plays better than the sum of their individual parts. And you look at that team, and they have a few studs, but as a unit, they're just playing really well right now. Yep. Did they peak too early? We'll find out come playoffs, but I still think they roll today. Player-wise,
I think a big Kelsey day, right? Is it just me? I always like people coming back off of either injuries or COVID or
exactly. It's coming off a week off. They're going to want to get him kind of back up to speed, like the rest of the team's heading. So.
The reason I like him today is Cincinnati does have a little bit of a pass rush, right? So, I mean, some of those downfield plays aren't going to have enough time to develop. So I like Kelsey underneath and then Kelsey with Big Yak. Like
I also like Ja'Marr Chase today. I think I like him because last week the Ravens' game plan was just to do anything they could to not let Ja'Marr Chase beat him. They were holding him around the goal line like 3 plays in a row. They're just taking the holding penalty, daring Cincinnati to do something else, and obviously the other receivers feasted. But I think they try to get him involved early today.
So, Derek, what do you think about a Mixon? Because it was kind of tale of 2 seasons for Kansas City. Their rush defense was horrible. Like anyone could rush on them, but then Chris Jones came, and now that defense is playing pretty good. Should fantasy owners? This is a big fantasy week. I can't believe I didn't lead the show off with that. A lot of championship games. What are fantasy owners to expect from Joe Mixon?
I think he's really touchdown dependent today. Obviously, he's had a good streak of those, and he's found the end zone a lot. But I don't know how many rushing yards there are to be had, and I think to keep pace, they're going to feel pressure to throw the ball. I think he's going to be really touchdown dependent. Hopefully, he can get a few receptions in the passing game in a PPR format. But overall, I mean, if you have Mixon, you're starting him. There's no way around that. You just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yep. All right. Let's move to another big AFC game that Derek talked about earlier. And I know Marcus is just chomping at the bit to talk about Brian Flores. Let's talk Miami as a dog on the road, getting 3.5 points from Tennessee with an over-under of 41. Marcus, how is Miami going to pull off the upset today?
They're just coached better, and that's no slight towards Mike Vrabel. I'm such a huge Brian Flores fan, man. I have been since he flipped out on the refs his first season as a coach against the Jets game, but he's really kind of helped this team. They've done some impressive things. Obviously, they started off very bad earlier this year, and they still have a lot of things to figure out. But, man, they're an opportunistic defense. I think they said 30-some-odd sacks in the last 9 games, just dominating, finding different creative ways to force turnovers. And that's what you have to do if you have a struggling offense. We've seen some – now I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl just yet, but I wouldn't be upset. Sometimes all you need to do is play some good defense, force some turnovers, weird shit happens, and you make a run. It's funny. It's exciting to win, and I'd actually like to see how the media and the public world reacts to Tua being a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, that would quiet the haters. I don't think we're quite there with Miami Super Bowl yet, but maybe. The big storyline for me is the Titans give up a ton of sacks. They give up the 4th most sacks, and Miami's defensive strategy is built around getting to the quarterback. I think this is a messy day for Ryan Tannehill. I think he is probably pressured into a few interceptions. I think this is a game that's in the teens, and it's ugly. I think this is almost a replica from the Titans Steelers game a few weeks ago. And I think Miami is a better version of Pittsburgh, just a little bit better. And I think they pull the upset like Pittsburgh did. Derek, what do you think about that? And what players are we watching in this game?
This one's tough because I definitely we don't really know what Miami is. Again, they've had a good run, but it's against really bad teams. I think the best team that they've played during this 7-game win streak has like 6 or 7 wins. So they haven't played a lot of really good competition. They, top to bottom, one of the easiest schedules in the entire NFL. I think Tennessee, I just like him here. I think they have better experience, and they don't have to start Tua at quarterback. So huge advantage there.
So is Tannehill the better quarterback in this game?
Somehow, yeah. There's not many games you get to say that in.
No, there's not.
Maybe if they play the Steelers, you get to say that.
Hey, we're not doing that on 7. We're not doing that to 7. Not this week. But we'll get that to later.
Or next week.
Let's jump to 2 quarterbacks who have both kind of had up and down seasons. Arizona at Dallas. Derek, you said this is your game of the day. Dallas giving 5.5 with an over/under of 51.5. We're all on Arizona. Do you have Arizona winning like Marcus and I, or do you think they just cover?
I'm not ready to go far enough for a money line pick on Arizona. I still think Dallas
taking the 5.5. That's smart.
Yeah, I still think Dallas is probably a better team. I just want that 5.5. I think this could be a field goal game. But I'm excited to figure out who these teams are, and I think this is a good kind of a test for both teams to figure out who they are. I mean, Dallas has been opportunistic. Obviously, they've generated a lot of turnovers, but Diggs, like, you can throw all over him. He's giving up the most yards. The reason he's getting so many opportunities to intercept the ball because people are throwing at him all game. He's really, really super overrated. So we'll see.
Way to put it nicely. Way to put it nicely.
I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have any trouble with him. So we'll see. I do like Arizona. I think they match up well, but Dallas has been running pretty hot and at home. Maybe they keep it going.
Marcus, I know you want to talk Cliff. Talk Cliff to me.
Oh, it's not. I like how everyone makes this about Cliff. It's not about Cliff. I just like what Arizona's been able to do, and what they've been able
Cliff's
to do.
Cliff's a better coach in this game. Let's come out and say that, right? You talk about can't say Tannehill's a better quarterback.
McCarthy is the worst coach, I think, just about every matchup. Besides,
he did win a Super Bowl. It's just I just have liked what Arizona's been able to do. Obviously, number one pick a few years ago when you draft Kyler Murray. It all started as soon as they got they had the balls to make the move and trade Josh Rosen after another number one overall pick. But if you look at this roster top to bottom, like even the beginning of the year, no one's looking at it like, damn, that's a good roster. Like everyone's, oh, that's weird. We don't know why this is. No one understands what pieces are going in. They have a bunch of end of their career guys, making plays. Just a weird team. I support weird. You guys know I love the weird shit, but they've obviously been struggling. Dallas hasn't really played that good of football outside of blowing out Washington. So they've both been very inconsistent. Obviously, we all know about Arizona streak. Kyler Murray needs a bounce back day, but I'm kind of with Derek here. I like the value money line in this type of a game, but 5.5 is just the better way for me to go.
Yeah, so I'm taking money line, and here's why. The Cardinals are 7-1 in their last 8 games this year. And 7-1 against the spread. So I'm gonna do it both ways. I'm gonna take the spread and the money line, because I think just kind of hedge my bets a little bit. But I think they win. I think they win both there, pretty easily. And one thing that kind of isn't talked about, I can't wait for the linebacker play in this game. Isaiah Simmons, Micah Parsons. Going to be very, very fun to watch there in the middle of the field as both teams really try to utilize that in their game plans.
For sure,
it's gonna be exciting.
Right,
kind of as exciting as we have, since we looking back, we have Cincy, Kansas City, the young quarterback matchups that are going to be facing off for a long time. This is the same thing. Two dynamic linebackers that are not traditionally used in their positions because of their versatility. So if you like interesting matchups and keying in on certain players, this is a fun game to watch for that reason, if only for that reason.
For sure. All right, let's not talk about quarterback play in this game and the Sunday nighter, because there's some dude called Mannion supposed to go into Green Bay and give a competitive game. Marcus, do you want to talk at all about this game? Can JJ fantasy owners hope for anything? What is Dalvin Cook going to do? Just going to be a slaughter?
We could all waste time, unless someone actually has a legitimate reason for anyone, even Minnesota at full strength, coming in and thumping Green Bay, who's played such sound football. This game was interesting until obviously COVID struck Kirk Cousins. But I can't even make anything plausible or even close to an argument for why Minnesota should even cover, let alone win this game.
Right. Yeah, I think we're all on Green Bay, regardless of how big that number is. I think that number would probably have to be in the 20s for us not to take it. The question I want to bounce to you, Derek, is where are we at with Aaron Rodgers MVP?
He's definitely making a late charge for it. I like to see the non-quarterback guys get a shot at it. So I'm still on the Jonathan Taylor train. I've seen some people try to make a Cooper Kupp argument. I don't like that one. I think wide receiver is a little harder. I think running back is probably the easier sell than a quarterback. Yeah. But he's making a late charge, that's for sure. And it's traditionally a quarterback award. So
I think when he puts up 350 and 4 touchdowns tonight, those talks are going to get a lot stronger.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those Thanos moments. I feel it feels inevitable.
Yes, it does.
I feel like we're gonna get what we deserve stolen from us. But he's making the charge. It's coming. He's gonna put up a bunch of those numbers today. And this is one of those rare guys. A lot of guys talk about, oh, I just want to win the game, and I just care about the team, and I don't care about my stats. Aaron Rodgers cares about his stats. He cares about
he wants to light Minnesota up.
He cares about the awards. Minnesota traditionally plays him pretty tough, and they're wounded right now. He wants to kick the shit out of them while they're down.
Yes,
and that's who you want quarterback in your team. Let's be honest. Like that's the type of guy you want.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about future Pittsburgh Steeler Aaron Rodgers. So on that note, let's jump to what Marcus and I are going to have to fight off tears, both talking about it now and definitely tomorrow night. Ben's last home game as an underdog against a team he's 23-1 against. Marcus, first off, thank you, Seven.
Thank you, Seven.
Talk to me about this game, my man.
If this team just has to come out and play. Cleveland's as inconsistent as anybody. They're calling for their quarterback, but it's also like a yearly tradition in Cleveland where they want to fire all the coaches, get rid of all the players, start fresh, because starting fresh every single year really helps with continuity going forward in the next season. If anything, Pittsburgh should just play for you got to play for your quarterback, man. It's going to be his final home game, likely ever, unless until
steal
Pittsburgh
the North.
Wins these two games. Yeah, it's very plausible right now. Also, Miami can win the North with Buffalo and Patriots losing today to terrible teams. But yeah, Steelers got to play good defense. You just have to be a little bit creative and fucking let it all hang out. Like this is like a lot of guys going to play high school ball. Their coaches tell the seniors, "This is your last game ever. Go let it hang out. This is what you have to go do for 7. Last time in front of the fans. Fucking stadium is going to be electric." I was actually looking into flying up just for the game tomorrow, but
not all of us make Marcus money. You asked me if I wanted to do that. I'm like, I
was checking for Baltimore for that one. It's like $100 flight. So,
Derek, what I want to talk here is because I know you don't want to talk Ben Roethlisberger. I want to talk Nick Chubb.
Oh, I like talking about how bad he is. I'm down.
Because I think that's really the only way Cleveland can win this game. On the road Monday night, you have to just dominate a actual pretty poor Steelers run defense. What do you think out of Nick Chubb, and could he win some fantasy championships? Because I don't think he's going to pull a Kamara and get 6 touchdowns, but I mean Chubb could easily get 150 and 2 tutties.
Here's my problem with that is like the game plan, the formula for Cleveland to be a good team this year has been the same since day one, and they just haven't really shown a willingness to really commit to it. It's give the fucking ball to Chubb. When he is healthy, give the ball to Hunt. Like they need to be running the ball first and second and third, and then throw it. Kind of when they have to, when it's set up well, off play action. They need to be the Tennessee Titans. Like that's how the Cleveland Browns would have been good. They put way too much on Baker. Baker's not good enough for the amount of pressure and responsibility they put on him. Give the ball to Chubb. If they do that, I kind of like them, but still, Pittsburgh at home. I know that the Browns are poorly coached. I don't necessarily. I still think it's going to be Pittsburgh here. Them not being, home dogs in Roethlisberger's last game. For better or for worse, he's not a very good quarterback, but like the team's going to play for him. There's no way around that. Yeah. He's still a leader of that team, and they still have enough pieces. Najee's going to have a good day. Like I think they're going to be fine. Pittsburgh covers. Pittsburgh wins. I think, but if you're the Cleveland Browns, it's another embarrassing season. Just lean on what you have. Like they have a great offensive line. They have 2 running backs that any team in the league would take. Like they would start pretty much anywhere. Just misuse. I saw a stat talking about, Nick Chubb has 206 more yards than Derrick Henry with 12 less carries. Like talking about how good his efficiency is and his yards per touch are. And to me, I'm thinking, why does he have 12 less carries than a guy who hasn't played for half a season?
Yep.
Like, how terrible is that misuse? Like, it's criminal.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Stefanski honeymoon is certainly wearing off for sure. One last thing before we jump into the other games here on this Monday night, Marcus. I want to ask you this question and then Derek this question. Who's the better quarterback in this game, Big Ben or Baker Mayfield?
Oh, it's 7. There's no question. 7. Yeah, so right now, even if you like take away like their history, they're both gonna fucking make bonehead plays. They're both gonna do some stupid ass things out there. But who do you trust if it comes down to a game-winning drive? So, and not to put them in like the elite type of category because they're both at the lower mid echelon. But that's for me, that's the tiebreaker when you're like, oh, who's better, who's worse? Like, who would you rather have at the end of the game?
Anytime in coin flip games, you want to go to the quarterback, right? And I think that's where you land. You're right. They're both probably going to have multiple turnovers. I want the guy who's been there, done that in the fourth quarter. I just want Derek to say that Ben's a better quarterback in this match.
So I was going to say I think that Baker has a higher ceiling just because I think he still has his legs. He still has more arm strength, but bottom line, like there's not going to be a situation that there's not going to be a moment in this game, week 17, that the moment's too big for Roethlisberger. He's been there.
Nope.
Baker, like there's plenty of chances for a moment to be too big for Baker in this game.
First play of the game,
right? Yeah. So I think you just got to go through the experience. You know, that last drive. You want Ben all day. I don't care if it's Ben like in a literal wheelchair. Like, he's been there. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
He's been there. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's do a few quick hitters here. I want to stay in the AFC North. You have a West Coast team flying out to Baltimore. Baltimore being a home dog, getting 3.5 points. But I think the Rams just slaughter Baltimore. I don't know if it's as bad as the Bengals did to them, but like I think the running back by committee situation that the Rams have going on, and I think Stafford just eats up a banged up Baltimore defense. But the play that I like, I think this over-under is crazy low. Huntley's starting. I think Huntley and Andrews get maybe a 2-touchdown day. The Rams kind of give up the big play here. I think this is a Rams win by 6, Rams win by 7. And I think all the teams in the AFC North lose other than the Steelers. That's my storyline, leaving the door open for a Baltimore-Pittsburgh AFC North battle next Sunday. That's what I got here. Derek, Marcus, do you think Baltimore can pull the upset at all?
No, I don't. Do not.
No, I think both LA teams have been really inconsistent this year. I think the Rams have kind of disappointed a lot of people with their consistency. Yes. Chargers have disappointed me with their consistency, but I just think this is one of those games that Aaron Donald just like takes over. Like to me, that has that kind of written all over it. And if you're
3.5 sacks, maybe a forced fumble, I mean, he's going to make Huntley just terrified all day.
If you're on your 6th and 7th corner, like the last thing you want to see is Cooper Kupp.
Yep,
like it's
Cooper Kupp to the moon today.
It's going to be a brutal game. Yeah, and Cooper's chasing some history, he's chasing some records. He's going to be force fed quite a bit.
Yep. All right, let's move to something that I know Marcus is wanting to celebrate. Philly going to Washington with a chance to lock up a playoff spot. Nobody drummed the Jalen Hurts, bell more than you have. What do you think about Jalen Hurts, playoff quarterback?
I think that it's one of my hot takes going into this season, and it feels really nice. He saw his room to develop. We are all talking about this, the quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett, like all the guys coming out. Jalen Hurts is still younger than Kenny Pickett, still younger than some of those guys. They're developing, but who even thought win more than 4 games this year? No one else.
Me.
So
not me. You did. If you go back and listen to our pod, you had them. I think you had them at 9-8. I think you had them at.
I just had that, yeah, just sliding into that wild card spot, just finding a weird way. I like this kid. There's a lot to be excited about. Type of guy you want in your locker room. So if they want to get fucking weird, and he should stay in state. Just throwing that one out there next year. But I like Philly here to lock it in. I like it in to lock Washington down, win this game, and get ready for the Jalen Hurts play.
One of my locks. I feel really confident about this. Washington's a sinking ship. They're a shell. Both health, COVID, everything has just wrecked Washington. I think Philly wins. Next thing I want to talk about, Derek, I'm actually surprising you. This is off outline, but your comment about not chasing history with Antonio Brown, but incentives. Do you think Antonio Brown is a good play today for DFS? Because I think Brady force feeds him to get him his incentives?
I mean, Thomas Patrick Edward Brady II. He loves to help. He just like he loves his guys, man. He's gonna, if you're close to an incentive pay, he's gonna try to help you get there. And for some reason, he loves Antonio Brown. So I think that there is a huge incentive to play him in DFS today. I think they're going to be going after some numbers. I think Gronk's actually pretty close to some incentives as well. I'm not sure if he's playing today, but I think he's very
Gronk's
close.
playing. Gronk's
okay, so he's. I think he needs
no Evans, but Gronk and
I think Evans was a question mark.
I think Gronk needs. I think Gronk needs like 9 catches and 3 touchdowns over the next 2 weeks for like $250,000. So
yeah, I've actually got Gronk for a first touchdown today. But we even talked about AB going into that last week. He needed that stretch for the the final 3 weeks and 10 for 100 last week. He'll be in the end zone today. Just hopefully it'll be Gronk first.
Yeah, for sure. And they're gonna be throwing the ball a lot. Obviously they're banged up at the running back position. They had no depth really there. And the one thing that Leonard Fournette, his health puts kind of into perspective with them is they don't really have another back on that roster who can catch the football.
Right.
Leonard Fournette was only able to catch the football through just sheer volume of like a baptism by fire. Like Brady's like, I'm gonna throw the ball at you 45 times a game. Like, so
catch it or I'll kill you. Like
right,
catch it
basically.
or you will be banished to hell.
Right.
For sure. Another
Ronald
game
is a worse catcher. So
if Marcus gets to talk Jalen Hurts, you should be able to get to talk Justin Herbert. The Chargers can put Denver's playoff hopes to bed. What do you see in this game?
So this is a playoff game or a playoff type game where there's some stakes and you get the chance to put away a division rival. To me, to be a franchise quarterback, these are the kind of games you need to start putting on your resume. So you start putting some signature wins and start tormenting the teams in your division. That's what makes you one of those solid kind of franchise mainstays. You need to own the teams in your division. He's not going to own the Chiefs. I mean, you hope to split against the Chiefs just because of how good they are. But he has to beat up on Denver and Oakland. So I think we start that today. I think he needs to sling the ball all over them. Keenan Allen needs to get going. And to me, their defense has been so hit or miss. There's so much talent on that defense. They really just need to pull it together and play consistent.
Bad defensive coordinator hire.
Marcus, just want to go to you real quick. Do you have a first touchdown in this one? Are you going to Keenan Allen? Are you going
Keenan
Eckler?
Allen.
Are you going Williams? Where are you going?
I'm going Keenan Allen. He's not one of my favorite first touchdowns of the day. Some of my favorites actually are I'm going weird tight ends today, man. Gronk, Kelsey, Kittle. Those are going to be some of my big 3 today. And of course, you got to throw some Jaceki action in there just because I like it.
Well, Penn State fans need something to celebrate today because they didn't get a win yesterday.
That's all right.
Let's jump over to the parlay, and then we can hit on my parlay, my dog of the week parlay. But let's stay on touchdown parlays. Derek, I am going Allen from the Bills. We covered Chubb, Cooper Kupp, and Dallas Goedert. That pays out 18-1. What do you think about those? All plus matchups is kind of was my thinking with this parlay. Some big names, but also all very advantageous matchups.
The only thing I think I would sub would be quarterback.
Okay.
I like Jalen Hurts.
Like Hurts against Washington.
I think they design a little bit more for him around the goal line to actually run. So I think it increases your odds there. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. What about you, Marcus? Any other first touchdowns? Any comments on the guys I chose here?
Not really. You've actually been very sound with like your anytime, so they're pretty comfortable. Obviously, mine are kind of crapshoots towards the moon. So some of the games
yours pay out way bigger than mine do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They make or break a lot of things. I was actually kind of leaning towards Devonta Smith in Philly, but I know where I lie as far as Tampa goes. I'm just not going to touch the Minnesota Green Bay game because those odds are going to be awful. But for Dallas, Arizona, I usually like to stick kind of in my wheelhouse. So I do have some cheaper round robins with CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, he's kind of due to get in the end zone. But then I did a flip flop with Zach Ertz on the as far as the Arizona end. But some of my just consistent guys I like to ride with.
Are neither one of you guys going to bring up Brandon Cooks going against a pass funnel San Francisco?
Not today. It's always a Cook's day. So I think he'll keep you right at that average to get you at that 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdown season that we're accustomed to. But nothing mind blowing. Even though Davis Mills has played relatively well, it's going to be for a boom type of day. You know his floor. I don't see the full boom coming, but it's always Brandon Cooks day.
Awesome. All right, last one here. Then we can go ahead and get out of here and go get ready for some football. It's my underdog parlay of the week. And guys, I haven't felt this good about a parlay in a long time, which means it's definitely going to go 0 for 3. But I have Dolphins money line, Cardinals money line, and Steelers money line. That's paying out 19-1. It's amazing value, and the only one I'm really nervous about is the Cardinals. I feel good about the Steelers. I feel good about the Dolphins. So it was that 7-1 straight up Arizona. Kind of why I included those. Marcus, what do you think about that underdog parlay?
Well, I'm a fan, but one other one to consider today, gentlemen, one of my favorite covers as far as against the spreads today is Detroit, but they're a fun one that could potentially be snagging that W. I still don't like Seattle, but one of the teams I like over there.
Yep. Any other games you would swap out there, Derek, or do you like kind of what I built?
I mean, there's some tough ones. I think the Giants are always due to just not show up. So maybe Bears -6.5.
Yeah.
You got some guys playing for their jobs there. If they let the quarterback kind of take over, we'll see. Who knows?
I wanted to put Detroit in here so bad. Detroit's playing so hard for their coach, and Seattle's just given up on their season, right? Like Seattle has waved their towel. Nobody on either side of that ball wants to play anymore. Detroit, I think, is a low key underdog that I was tempted by.
I kind of like even the Colts. Like I don't know why they're such dogs.
Yeah.
Even without Wentz, like I feel like I could play quarterback for them. Or is Wentz going to play in that one?
Wentz is playing. He's 100% playing.
Yeah.
So why I don't get the -8 then?
Well, they're 8-point favorites. So
is that swung?
I'm sorry. They're backwards.
This one has Raiders backdoor kind of written all over it. It's one of the scarier games.
Yeah.
I think the Colts win, but 8 points is a lot. All right, guys. That's all I got. Again, thanks for joining. We have one more week left in the regular season. Next week's, I think, is going to be pretty dang electric. But this week's nothing to sleep on either. Derek, thank you for coming. Marcus, thank you as always. And only 2 more times I think I can say this. Thank you, Seven.
Thank you, Seven.